Hello guys and dolls, welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we are taking a look at Dr. Fate from B3dserk 3D. Before we get started, roll those credits and a word from our sponsors. PCBWay are proud sponsors of the channel. They offer industry-leading 3D printing services covering all types of materials and processes. They also offer industry-leading online CNC machine services from milling, machining, and turning in all the materials you could possibly need. They also offer a fully online prototyping PCB service. Everything from assembly through to design, you can do it all online with an easy system to use for quality. So for all of your needs, check out PCBWay in the link in the video description. Okay, so today we are taking a look at Dr. Fate. So Dr. Fate is a model done by B3dserk. They are a sister Patreon of Wicked 3D. B3dserk tend to focus more on DC characters and Wicked focus more on the Marvel side. We've got a plethora of Marvel models done. So we've got the Kingpin and we've got Green Goblin, Thanos, a bunch of others. Really, really nice models. And the best thing about them is they're just so detailed. They are detail orientated. You'll see in a minute when we do some of the close-ups, but the book for this has actually got hieroglyphic text in it on each of the pages. They didn't have to do that, and the model would have looked fine without it. And they could have even done them as embossed, sort of as raised text. That might have been a little bit easier, but these are cutouts. These are almost carved into the pages, and they look fantastic. The model is primarily done in resin, with the caveat that I have done the cape in FDM. Now, I was using the Quiddy Max 3 to do the FDM parts, and I'll be honest and say that it struggled a little bit. So I've had a couple of issues with my Quiddy, which are now solved, but the issues was that randomly I would get 1 to 2 layers where it would clog and cause a line to go right through my model. I was going to spend a bit of time trying to fill them, but I hate capes anyway. The cape is at the back, and you know, I kind of don't really want, I didn't want to waste the print, and I really didn't want to waste any time going through and filling all of it again. So so I left it as it was. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it. He's a very simple model to paint, certainly the way that I did him anyway. So the gold is all gold rub and buff, and then we've got the blue, which is an azure blue that I got from, I think it's from Model Color, and I really like it. It's a really basic, it appears on the surface to be a really basic print and a really basic paint job, and I guess in a way that it is. So what I try to do for the magic, and we'll show this on the close-ups a little bit more, is, don't know if you can see this on the video, but I put UV reactive paint in on the spells, so that just to try and give it a little something. So we'll dim the lights when we do the 360, and you can see that in a little bit more detail. I think it looks really cool when it works. So I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So before we go into anything else, let's do a quick look around the model. as you can see, I'm really happy with how this turned out. There is an issue with Rub and Buff. So Rub and Buff is a wax paint, which means that once you've applied it to your model, it gets everywhere, and there are actually a couple of annoying little fingerprints that I keep seeing on different parts of the model, where I've obviously had gold leaf on, or gold buff on my hands, and I've touched the model at some point. I will touch those up because they will bother me greatly, but ultimately a lot of this model is the Rub and Buff. Once you've put Rub and Buff on, because it's wax, it then makes the model hydrophobic, which makes it really difficult, in fact impossible, to cover over that with regular acrylic paint. If you get it somewhere, then basically you almost have to reprime that area to then be able to paint over it again, because the paint just won't go over it because it's a wax-based paint. The base of this is relatively basic. I'll be honest to say, there's a few things that I learned very quickly. So I did not hollow some of the parts that I did on this, and most of him is resin. He's quite heavy. And when it comes to models like this, or a lot of Superman models where they are trying to look like Superman is flying, they have one key that attaches it to the base, and it's normally in the foot, and then everything else kind of hangs off of that. It means that you can't do those parts hollow, or if you do, you have to do quite thick walls. So I'm doing sort of 2.5 mil to 2 mil thick walls to be able to keep that strength, because there's quite a lot of weight that's hanging off of this in different areas. The base isn't huge, which I like, because I don't really like bases, but it also means that this model is a little bit unsteady on its feet. The base of the model is flat, but you can see that it's got a real rock to it. So if you slam the door too hard in my office, then I have to breathe in really quickly and go, oh God. Then I shakily reopen the door to see whether or not there's devastation on the floor. The model, as I said, the model itself, as in the torso, head, arms, all that stuff, that's all resin printed. So are all of the arms and the book. I didn't hollow the book. That created some real problems because, again, the book is really heavy, so he leans really far forwards. Other than that, the model itself, I think, came out quite well. I used a sandstone spray paint on the base just to give it a little bit of texture. But other than that, I think he looks really good. I really like the way he came out, and I'm really liking the UV reactive paint that we got as well. I think that gives it a little bit of pop, so that whenever I put a black light on it, it adds to that little magical bit. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.